guys, so for today, I'm reviewing a movie I saw on Friday, called Old. Just like a heads up, this review will contain spoilers just because, I don't know, it seems kind of difficult to review a movie like this specifically without doing any spoilers. So there's your warning. If you're wondering why I saw this movie instead of like something else, it's mainly just because I just like this kind of movie. I love like thrillers and stuff like that. It's not really like a popular movie genre. I don't think most people like thrillers like these. But I love these kind of movies. This movie was directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and you probably know who the guy is, and he's not really, I would say he's not really like a masterful director like recently, but I mean the guy still has a name to him. And I want to say, like, first of all, like before I start actually reviewing the movie, I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. I know most people will not have that opinion. It's a very unpopular opinion, but this movie is not good. This is not like this isn't a good movie, but it's so enjoyable. I kind of compare it to like Fast and Furious in regards to like the enjoyability factor, but the quality factor. Because this movie's bad. This movie's really bad, but I loved it. It's one of my favorite movies this year. It's probably my favorite movie this year, just because I love the thrill aspect to it. But yeah, so the film basically starts with a family. Again, spoilers. So the movie starts off with a family that goes to basically just like a beach resort, and there's a lot of people there and stuff like that. And they get a suggestion to go to a beach, and the beach is the beach you see in the trailer, and it's basically when you get there, you rapidly start aging. Now, how the aging works is a bit wonky in the movie. It doesn't really make any sense actually. So every hour is 2 years, unless I got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure every hour is 2 years. Now that doesn't really make sense because they quickly find out, maybe like an hour into the movie or so, that if you get like cut, for example, it heals like in like seconds. But that doesn't make any sense because a cut takes like 2 to 3 weeks to fully heal. So it's like you're not healing 2 weeks a second, because that wouldn't make sense like mathematically, I assume. So even the time doesn't really make sense. Even just with other things happening in the movie, which I'll go over, the time just doesn't make sense. But 1 hour is 2 years. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And sort of the first instance they get of this is kind of dumb, if I'm being honest. Like, so the kids rapidly start aging, as you see in the trailer, but no one around them really comes to the idea that like they don't come to the conclusion, oh, they're aging. So you might say, oh, so what do they think is happening then? Well, they think there's some sort of disease or infection or virus, but that doesn't really make any sense, does it? I don't know how they didn't put it together faster, but you gotta inflate the runtime, so I understand, but it just doesn't make sense. So if you're wondering how they came to the conclusion that, we're rapidly aging, there's a character in the movie called Midsize Sedan. He's a rapper, and he's there on the beach with a girl the night before. I assume the night before. It might have been like early in the morning, but they went skinny dipping. Who the fudge goes skinny dipping in the morning? So I think it was like 6, 7 o'clock at night earlier. They find him. Another kind of like big plot hole. How is he not aging? Like, I understand, like, they do a joke about it, but, if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean, but it's like, he was there at, like, 6 o'clock that night, and now he's here, like, 10 a.m. in the morning. He didn't age at all. No aging. So, I don't know how he didn't age. At first, I thought, well, maybe, like, the water is making them age, because, I don't know, maybe he didn't go in the water. It looked like I don't know, I'm trying to, like, justify it, but it was kind of weird. He didn't really age. It didn't look like he aged at all. And as you see in the movie, when like the night passes, like overnight, you age like 20, 30 years. So, well, let's say for like 8 hours every hour, so it's 16 years. So you age 16 years overnight. He didn't age at all, so that was kind of weird. But the girl I was with, she ended up dying because she aged too fast, I assume. But again, why didn't he age with her and die as well? I don't know. And so she's dead. So they think he did something. They assume it to him, and they wrap her body up and they lay her just to rest, right? But over time, they start a body decay really fast, which one of those is more of a tell that, oh, we're aging fast? I mean, it's literally the kids, right? Like, you wouldn't assume the body is a tell that, oh, we're aging fast. You know, you can make an excuse. You could say, oh, you know, the extreme heat, the humidity, aged up the decaying process, whatever. But again, they just assume that, like, oh, the kids are having a reaction or something, and the body is the primary tell that they're aging rapidly. Again, it's just, the writing is not very good. You know what else isn't very good? The freaking dialogue. The dialogue is crazy bad. Okay, just two scenes that are like really bad. It might have been the acting, but I don't know if it was the acting. I mean, like, Alex Wolff in this, the son, he's in the trailer. He's really good in this movie, so I don't think like the acting was really that big of an issue. But some scenes were just written so poorly. And okay, for example, this guy wants to talk to his wife about something, and just, you know, I'm not doing a full summary of the movie. I am leaving out certain bits. I'm just like a summarization while reviewing the parts I'm summarizing. So if you're like, well, wait, you didn't include this, it includes it, include this, it includes this. I'm not like going over everything, just because I feel like to do that I would have had to take notes. If you really wanted like a full summary, I would have had to like take notes and stuff like that, and I didn't do that in the theater. Also the theater, I am really not liking going back to theaters. Some kid next to me was like, kept laughing for no reason. Please just put every movie on streaming from now on. I just don't, the theater experience, it's like $21. I went with my mother, $21 for two people to see a movie, and it's like $30 for food. Like, I understand, like, it's expensive, whatever, but like, come on, like, put it on streaming. I understand piracy is a big issue. I'm streaming. Piracy is an issue. I understand that's what movies don't put the movies on in streaming, but I miss streaming, just seeing a movie, putting on your phone. I just what I want. But I get why, you know, the theater experience is great. So usually, so you know, they come to terms. Oh, we're aging rapidly, and so one of the first like things they start doing is trying to escape. But there is when they try to escape, they basically get all dazed. They're no longer lucid, and they just pass out and wake up back on the beach. They can't really escape. A character even tries climbing the rocks to escape, and I was thinking like, oh, why don't they do that? They did that. She passed out, fell and died. That, you know, that didn't work. So they can't escape. One of the characters even tries to swim away. You know, we lost. No longer coherent, so he died because he just passed out. Probably just drowned, obviously, because he stopped swimming because he passed out. But yeah, going back to dialogue, there's a scene where the father wants to talk to the wife, and he's like, oh, I need to tell you something. Never mind, I'll tell you later. Like, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but there's literally a scene where he's on his wife, and he's like, honey, I need to tell you something. No pan shot, no cut to her. Nothing, just says, no, mind, I'll tell you later. I mean, come on, what? And then this one guy, he's talking to his wife. He's sitting there with his wife and then two kids are in front of them. And he's like, who are you? What are your names? It's like if you're in like a theater class for the first time in your entire life. Like first time acting. It's like the first take. It was like so weird. Like the acting was so awkward. So weird. It was like, who are you? What are your names? Okay, I mean, sure, whatever. It was just kind of weird. So some of the writing and acting just didn't work. The dialogue is horrible. Characters are pretty bad. Like, you can't just really care about the family. Everyone else you don't really like, or they're okay. Mrs. Sedan was all right, and like the couple, they were okay. Like the person around was like, hey, how are you? What are your names? That couple was okay, but most people were not great. And so like a big moment that happens is when the kids start aging. Obviously, when you start aging, you know, you feel differently about things, and you know, you start to have feelings that you didn't have before in your life. And so he's in a tent with this girl, and he puts his hand on her waist, and it cuts away, and you know the implication, oh, they're gonna hook up, you know. And so I don't know what I should be saying on this channel, because I feel like ASMR is somewhat kid friendly, and I want to keep it kind of vague. And so they're talking about what to do, how to escaped, we're just assessing the situation. And so she's like, the mom's like, oh, where's my son? Where is he? And so I slouched down in my chair and I'm like, oh my god, because I thought they were gonna like show them doing something, but they didn't. PG-13, so yeah, you can't really show that much. And he comes walking out the door with the girl, and she's freaking pregnant. Are you kidding me? Someone on Twitter literally said like, we need to arrest M. Night. I'm like, yeah. And this isn't even like it's just so, oh my gosh. And so the mom of the girl's like, oh my gosh, what happened? And she's like, we just had some fun. I'm sorry, but the boy, physically, the guy is like 16 years old. Because the girl's like 13, I think. Well, I think the daughter's older than the son, but the doctor, because the doctor there, he's like, I would place her at like 13 or 14. But I think the son's younger, but he looks kind of older, so I don't know. And so, it's like, oh, we had some fun. Now, I don't know about you, but mentally, when you're 6 years old, do you know what to do? I don't think so. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think you, like, physically know what to do when you're 6 years old. Like, mentally, when you're 6, you don't know what the fudge you're doing. So, whatever, we'll fight it off. So she literally gives birth. You see in the trailer, she gives birth. And unfortunately, the baby instantly dies. Like instantly dies. It's crazy, right? So the logic of that is the baby's body, the immune system couldn't survive the rapid aging process. Like the body couldn't handle it aging rapidly. So I'm gonna go through like every character ends up dying basically. So the couple, I'm gonna refer to their races just because like the movie does a really bad job of like telling you their names. You know, like Maddox is the daughter, the son. Again, I saw him like 3 days ago. They knew like another kid. Like the movie does a good job. There's a couple. It's like a black woman and like an Asian man. Again, I don't like refer to races, but I kind of have to because the movie does a terrible job with going over their names. Terrible job. I don't even know the parents' names. And so the Asian man, he just swim out and he drowns because unconscious. The black woman that he's married to, she suffers with seizures, and that's sort of foreshadowed earlier in the movie. So she has a seizure and she dies. There's a character I didn't talk about, just like a young woman. She's like kind of like an Instagram model. And so her thing is that she needs a lot of calcium because it's alluded to that she has a calcium deficiency. So as she gets older, her back like has like a really bad arch in it, and she even kind of jokes about it. Right in the movie, just like, well, I don't want to develop like an arch in my back. And so as she gets older, because rapidly aging, she doesn't have calcium because she has calcium deficiency. I think that's what it is, or she just doesn't want to like look old or something. She basically says how like, oh, I need calcium. So as she gets older, her body gets a really bad arch, and she looks like this like evil hunchback woman. Like if you know what I'm talking about, like you see it kind of a lot in like pop culture. It's like an old witch. It's how much it looks like, and I think that's like what like the illusion was supposed to be. It's like kind of like a witch. She dies because she gets really mad at the son and daughter. So she holds this scene. I swear to God, this scene is phenomenal. This scene should be studied by every director. Just study for hours. This scene I love this scene. So she picks up a rock and she goes to throw it at them, and she drops it and it hits her arm. But because you age so rapidly, it healed in that position. So her arm is like this, but her other arm is fine. So she tries crawling towards them, and like she hits her arm on a rock because they're in a cave. Because they're running like they're running away. And so like she hits her arm and it's like, ow. So she keeps like flailing around. But because she keeps hitting her arms, they keep healing in that position. And again, that time doesn't make sense because like your arm with a cast takes like a couple months to heal. So how are you aging 2 months? Like in 2 seconds? I don't know. Like the time, don't question the time aspect. It's horribly done. But again, love the movie, but it was not great. And I loved it though. And she keeps like hitting her arms. And when she's done, her body's completely like just contorted. Because it's like if like you break your finger like this, like vertically, and it healed like that. Or if you like broke your arm, right? Like this way, and it healed like that, your body would be all distorted. That's basically what happens. But It was funny though, and she just basically dies like that. The doctor that was there, he goes basically like mentally insane because he has mental issues. So he starts attacking people. So he starts like attacking the husband, like cutting him up, and he heals like instantly, which again doesn't make sense. And so the wife, she gets like a rusted knife and cuts him, and she's like, yeah, rust is like poison once it gets into the bloodstream. So his body basically just rapidly gets poisoned and he dies. Really cool scene. When I saw that clip in the trailer, I thought maybe there's some like spiritual or like dark magic going on, but no, it was just that. And that gets foreshadowed in the movie earlier. She tells her, because they don't play with those, they're dangerous, that rust. So, good foreshadows and stuff like that. And so at this point, Mentos Dan, he gets stabbed to death by the doctor. The girl that the boy like that he impregnated, she tried to climb and she fell and died. And I think that's everyone. I think that's everyone died. The parents, they died just of old age. It's kind of a sad scene. I think my mom was crying in the theater. I shouldn't be laughing, but it was a really sad scene because it's like, they got wrinkles, and it's like, why did we want to leave the beach again? Because their mind's kind of like, their mind is kind of, deteriorating. So their memory isn't good. The husband's vision goes bad. And so they kind of just die of old age, just pass out. It's a really sad scene. And so it's just the son and daughter. They go to sleep to wake up the next day. And they're like 50 years old. Because they even at the end, like, 50 years old. And so they're building a sandcastle, and they're just talking, and this is supposed to be sort of how when you get older, you don't really need that much like stimulus, like that much stimuli when you get older. You sort of appreciate the little things, just like reading or just watching a movie. You don't need like to be doing things all the time, so just relish in the moment. Before I continue with this, the son met a little boy at the resort early in the movie, and they communicate over like code. So like a shape correlates to a message, like a triangle half shaded correlates like E, or a square with like an X in it correlates to S, right? It's kind of like Morse code but with shapes. And so they communicate like twice, a couple times about an ice cream party, and one prior. And so they're talking about the resort, and the son, I think the daughter says something, and she says like, I don't know how they actually got into this, but she says about the resort. And so she's like, who was that boy met at the resort? And he was like, we would like talk over messages and stuff like that, but he sent me a message, I didn't decode it. I got chills at this point in the movie because M. Night does a lot of like plot twists, and I was like, he's gonna do something here, and he did. And she's like, we should decode the message then. So he just decoded, and he kind of like freezes, and he's like, and then I was like, what? Maddox is like the only person I picked up on their names for some reason. And he holds up the note, and it says, my uncle doesn't like the coral. And they realize that the coral, you can swim out of it and escape the beach. And, the aging factor doesn't apply anymore. But the whole movie, M. Night, who plays a character, is like a cameo in some movie. He's recording them. So what is the plot twist? What is going on? The beach rapidly aging. They find, this is all over the place, I'm sorry. They find a book on the beach, like in like the third act, or like at the end of the second act, and it basically has the names of everyone who's on the beach, and like what happened, and people trying to theorize what's going on at the beach. And I assume what's going on is like people before them, like subjects before them, were probably just taking notes and stuff like that, and maybe people just add with the book over time. I assume that's what's going on. And the beach basically exists where there's some sort of like issue with like electromagnets or like tectonic plates, like basically like metal in the ground is causing aging process to age rapidly. And again, it didn't really make a lot of sense, but it's an M. Night Shyamalan thriller, it can't make that much sense. And so, that's basically what's going on. So the whole plot twist is this resort is testing medicines on people testing medicines and cures on people to see how it affects them. They give everyone like a drink or some sort of like medicine at the beginning when they get to the resort, and this is basically like their test cure. So they realize the girl with the seizure, she didn't have a seizure for like 12, I forgot what they said, but she didn't have a seizure for like 6 hours or something. And so they came to the conclusion that 6 hours is like 12 years or something, whatever they said. Again, the time, there's no continuity with the time, really, it doesn't make sense. And so They said, oh, we stopped her seizures for like 20 years, 16 years or something. So they're testing cures on people, and because we're rapidly aging, they can test it faster. Like nowadays, if you want to test to see if a certain cures something, well, you only have like so much time. Like you have to wait, you have to check back in with the patient. There's a lot of time involved. But because of rapidly aging, you can test things more efficiently, basically, and that's basically what it is. But the couple, brother and sister, they do end up escaping through the coral. They get out. So early in the movie, the son found a police officer, and so his thing is he likes to ask people like, "What's your age and occupation? What's your name and occupation?" So he remembered that he asked a certain guy like, "Oh, you're a police officer, right?" You know, he asked, "Oh, what's your occupation?" He said, "Police officer." So he goes back when he's like 50, and again, it's only been like one day, not on the beach. So he says, "Oh, you're a police officer, right?" He's like, "Yeah," and he hands him the book, and I was like, "Oh, they're alive." Because you think they're dying, you think they drowned, and so the police officer starts taking pictures of all the names and addresses in the book and things like that. And a new family arrives at the beach. The son like knocks the drinks out of like the server's hands because he doesn't want them like drinking anything they give them or anything. And he says like, my family, you know, my friends and family, they were killed. You know, this place is evil. You have to get out of here. They cause a scene, and basically that's how the movie ends. The assumption is the operation gets shut down. And yeah, the boy actually finds the little boy that sent him the code. My uncle does, not the coral. I think his name was like Idlum, I think. And he stood there and he held out the piece of paper with the note, and he was like smirking. He was like, "Bro, you saved my life." And I thought that was really funny. Like I really like that shot of him like holding the piece of paper. I think the ending is actually like somewhat good. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it was just entertaining. I think it wrapped up very well, and I really enjoyed the movie. Again, plot holes and stuff like that, but big plot holes. How did Idlum, I think was his name, how did he even hear that? Like, so there's a guy in charge of the entire resort, in charge of the operation and everything. And so he talks to that young boy a lot. So I was assuming, oh, maybe he just like slipped up, but one day just said, "Yeah, my uncle doesn't like the coral." And the young boy remembered that as being like important for some reason. That's my only logic, because the boy knew that the family, because he was like the older boy, he was friends with that guy, and I guess he assumed because he stays at the resort a lot, his family just stays there. Maybe they live there, don't live there, but you know, they're around there a lot. And so I assumed that what was going on was, sorry, this is a long video, people like it long, so I'm sorry, it's a long video, but it's a lot to talk about, and let me know if it's long videos. And he became like the boy, and I guess he assumed that any new family that comes to the beach, they never come back, they always disappear. So he assumed, like, oh no, I have to help them somehow, because there's like a little scene where the guy is like, "Hey, don't look at that family, it's okay, don't play with them, don't look at them," because, you know, he doesn't want anyone noticing people disappearing, really. And so the boy just helps him because anything bad happened to his new friend. And if you're wondering how people just disappearing and like there's no sign of them, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Basically this is all happening like secretive. They said like, oh, they sent us like an email directly, you know, they sent a special car to pick us up, they can make it look like we disappeared, they have our passports. So I guess they have their own like airline, their own cars, everything. But they send an email. So wouldn't like Gmail know, you know, all these emails from this one, you know, company, all these people going missing. So the whole idea that these people are just like disappearing without any trace, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, like if hundreds of people just going missing, there's no way no one would know. But this video has it's been long enough. Sorry for the length, but yeah, I really love these movie reviews, something different.